Friedman, former ambassador of the United States to Israel, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
We see a very different approach of the Biden and the Trump administrations. How do you see it affecting international events, especially Iran and the Israeli-Palestinian relations?
Well, I think anywhere in the world, the most important factor towards global stability and to peace is a strong America standing on its principles and projecting that strength throughout the world. So just by way of example, before, during the Obama administration, Vladimir Putin took over Crimea. In the Trump administration, we had virtually no aggressive actions from Russia, very little from Iran. Obviously, we drew certain red lines and we kept them. For example, when Bashar Assad gassed his own people, and we responded with heavy artillery. So now we're in a Biden administration which is not projecting strength, and the bad actors of the world are taking advantage, whether it's in Russia, whether it's in China, whether it's in Iran, whether it's in North Korea, and in particular, we're just seeing we're seeing I think a very dangerous situation in Iran, as you asked. We're chasing Iran back to the table. We've given up significant sanctions. We've got nothing in return. It's very unlikely that we're going to get back to a deal that's even as good or as bad as the JCPOA. So when America is weak, the world is at risk, and unfortunately, we're going through a period of American weakness right now.
Yes. In your opinion, is this zigzagging in politics by American administration taking as a sign of weaknesses by countries such as Iran or Syria?
It's not the zigzagging, it's the reversal by the Biden administration of some of our policies that kept the world safer. In particular, I know that Iran is an issue that Israel focuses on significantly. We've given up a lot of pressure. There's no indication that Iran will get back to a point which we've identified as our objective, which is to get to a place which is stronger than the JCPOA. We're not going to get there, I don't believe, based upon where the negotiations are heading. And I think that if America continued its policy of peace through strength, of holding our adversaries accountable for their actions and using maximum sanctions where necessary, I think we'd be in a better place. I think we should have already imposed significant sanctions on Russia that we haven't done in order to perhaps avoid an armed conflict where thousands of people will die. We should be trying to avoid that now through sanctions, not reserving those in case there's violence in the future. So I'm not happy with the current administration in terms of how they're approaching the world generally, and I do think that it will have negative ramifications everywhere, unfortunately in Israel as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Abraham Accords were a huge success. Today we see how the fruits of these achievements are being harvested. Do you think this will continue to expand to other Muslim countries with the current administration, or has it come to a halt?
Well, I certainly hope it gets scaled to other countries. It doesn't seem now as if the administration is acting in a way that will permit more advancement. In every one of the Abraham Accords, there was a bilateral agreement between Israel and another country. But at the apex, if you will, of that agreement was America. In each case, America standing behind the two countries, providing assurances, providing encouragement, and that's critical, providing strength. If America were to return to that position of strength, and I know I'm repeating myself, we have the capacity to scale the Abraham Accords. I think if we were still in office, Saudi Arabia would be an Abraham Accords country by now. They've already opened their airspace to Israel. I think that the relationship between Israel and Saudi has great promise for the future. But I think that, again, we need a strong America standing against common enemies and common adversaries in order for that to happen.
Yes, without a doubt. Ambassador Mr. David Friedman, I want to thank you so much for this interview.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you. I hope to be back soon again.